Naughty. Oh.
Wow. I mean, wow, man. This show, Trash in Paris, was absolute and utter garbage, and it was another PLE WWE disaster class this year. Nothing makes any sense. None of it is entertaining. None of it is compelling. And on top of that, all of these quote-unquote surprises, the shock factor that Triple H loves to do, was garbage. Do you care that Becky Lynch is helping Seth Rollins now? Oh, let me guess. Let's light it up. Light it up. Light it up. No, Triple H says, let's F it up. That's what his booking does. Triple H has no idea what he's doing. Even if AJ Lee actually does come back, just think about how this has already been ruined in multiple different ways. Number one, it's no longer unexpected because now we're all expecting it. So when it happens, it's not going to hit as much as it should have. It obviously will still because a lot of us grew up with AJ Lee, and AJ Lee is awesome. So we're going to all give it a massive pop when it happens, of course. However, the fact that we already are predicting it and know that it's going to happen soon now, or at least have a good feeling it might happen, then that's already going to ruin some of the, the luster of it all. Then on top of that, why in the world would AJ Lee and CM Punk fight Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins? Because when you really think about it, what is gained by winning that match? What's gained by winning that match? Please tell me. It's just a fun match for the fans, and it's great to see AJ Lee. If that's all you're going for, then fine. But I'm tired of all these legacy characters in WWE doing meaningless matches in meaningless segments in meaningless builds. It's getting annoying. And the third issue is that if AJ Lee is coming back, it's likely going to be for one final match. And are you really okay with her final program, her final match, her final storyline being with Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch in the Vision that has been largely garbage the entire run that they've been around, man, this year? Like, are you kidding me at this point? We're going to talk about more about that later, but that's not the point. This show was phoned in for cheap pops. Triple H decided, we're going to go overseas, we're going to get a cheap pop from France, we're going to take their money, and give them garbage, so, are you ready for garbage? That is what Triple H provided for us yet again. There was no Stephanie Vaquer here fighting for a world title. They could have put together anything, and they couldn't even give us maybe a Stephanie Vaquer versus an Io Sky match for the world title, and maybe by way of Asuka or Kairi Sane getting involved or something, maybe Io loses, and Stephanie Vaquer just goes for the pin because she has to. It's a world title on the line, so she gets the W. They could have given a Stephanie Vaquer versus a returning Bianca Belair possibly, or a heel Bayley, whatever the heck she's doing. They gave us nothing. Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill announces she's first in line for a women's title shot. Have the title shot at the PLE then. You know what I'm saying? It's just an embarrassment at this point. Roman Reigns is jobbing out to LeBron James duo at this point. Then you have no WWE Championship in the men's division. Dr. Libations, he just had a kid, so you know what? Fine. He takes his break. I get that. But man, you couldn't have at least had anything more important and more meaningful than Randall Orton. Or not, sorry, you could have had Randall Orton and Drew McIntyre on this show. But instead, you gave us a Sheamus and Rusev Donnybrook match. The match wasn't bad, but we've seen this before just without weapons on Raw. We've seen it 5 billion times, it feels like, man. Come on, bro. The only good match that actually is going to get talked about from this is John Cena versus Logan Paul, because it's one of Cena's final matches, and it was actually really good and really fun, entertaining, and it actually had some creativity to it. Everything else was mid at best, or frankly, horrible, okay? It's a bunch of Raw matches. AJ Styles isn't on the show. The WWE champions aren't on the show. This is not premium live event. It's premium slop. It's premium trash. All of the matches dragged on too long, and they had zero substance from a story perspective. So let's just go ahead and get into the show. We started off with the OTC1 Roman Reigns taking on Bronson Reed. This just doesn't work for me. You get what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't work. I'm watching Roman Reigns, who is one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time, fight Bronson Reed for shoes. Do you understand how embarrassing this is getting at this point, man? Roman Reigns is fighting Bronson Reed for Jordans. Like, are we being honest with? Is this entertaining to you? Do you enjoy this? Ask yourself, do you enjoy this? Out of all the amazing WWE content that we've seen in the existence of the company, and you're getting Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns for shoes. Just think about that for a second, and let's just move on. Roman Reigns then gets dominated throughout most of this match, obviously, right? He has a big entrance. Obviously, the crowd's doing the OTC. This was basically an emote match. It's full of emotes, it's full of chants, and it's full of absolute large pops for Roman Reigns, which, granted, the crowd loves him. We all love Roman Reigns, at least most of us do. Roman Reigns is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. But watching this situation take place when he just ended his world his 1,300-day championship reign. Ended at Mania 40 last year, and it ended because Undertaker got involved, The Rock was involved, John Cena was involved, Solo was involved, Jimmy were involved, Cody Rhodes obviously was involved, hitting multiple finishers. It took like, 4 or 5 crossroads, a spear. You know what I'm saying? This dude got attitude adjusted by John Cena. Everything, they put Roman Reigns through the ringer, and he finally lost the belt. And you're telling me that fast forward, now he's getting knocked down after getting thrown off a turnbuckle, or thrown into a barricade, or slammed down on the ground by Bronson Reed. Like, none of this is believable. The artificial pushes for Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are just embarrassing at this point, man. He has no reason to get dominated like this, and it's embarrassing. The majority of the match, Roman gets beat up by Bronson Reed, and then obviously near the end of the match, they have a couple cool moves. Bronson Reed now counters Roman Reigns' spear. John Cena couldn't counter the spear. Brock Lesnar couldn't counter Roman's spear. What's his name? Cody Rhodes couldn't counter Roman's spear, but Bronson Reed is going to counter Roman's spear. Then after this, Roman Reigns actually is able to actually hit the spear. There's a couple cool counters and some decent sequences towards the end of the match, and obviously Roman Reigns wins after one spear, and he gets the W over Bronson Reed. This does not matter, and nobody quite frankly cares. Even I, as someone who has, like I said, Roman Reigns is one of my favorite wrestlers, this dude fighting Bronson Reed is just embarrassing. This match was not good. It was not awful. It was meaningless and mediocre at best. That's just what it was, and this is not premium level content in my opinion. Roman then after the match, he finally gets to have his shoes back, and he holds them high, and the crowd gives him a massive pop, and then he's looking at Paul Heyman, and he puts Paul Heyman into a guillotine, okay? He puts a guillotine on Paul Heyman, and then afterwards he stands up and signs some of the shoes and gives them out to fans, and then Braun Breaker spears Roman Reigns to a table. After this takes place, Jey Uso randomly shows up after Roman Reigns has already been knocked down, and then of course, Jey Uso and Roman Reigns get mauled and beat up by LeBron James duo, and then that's basically it, because that's all they are. They're just a bunch of mindless hive mind jobbers, and we're going to talk about Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, because then those two and Paul Heyman should effectively be leaving this faction by Monday on Raw, if they're even there. They should be leaving as soon as they get back. They should be done with this faction, because Seth Rollins disrespected them later in the night, and they're going to just gloss over it like it didn't happen, but we're going to talk about that later in the show, or later in the review, sorry about that. Okay, but that's the point. It ends up with Roman Reigns getting brought out on a stretcher. He then has to get put on a stretcher and get brought out of the arena. This is just embarrassing at this point, man. Roman Reigns took like 1 billion finishers per match when he was champion. You get what I mean? And now he takes a couple spears and one tsunami, and he's on a stretcher. Do you understand what this is? Like, I understand they have to write him off because he's going to go shoot Street Fighter, and I get that. But there are other ways to write people off that are actually believable. You can't tell me that someone who averaged like 5 to 10 finishers taking a match, kicking out of everything, is now done after 2 spears from a mid-carder and then a tsunami from an undercard jobber. Like, it's just, listen, let's just move on, man, before I actually start to lose it, because this is getting ridiculous. We then get Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, the Street Profits, versus the Wyatt Six. I'm going to be honest with you, I did not watch this match besides the last minute of it. I'm not sitting, I told you guys this before, the Wyatt Six are boring, they're nonsensical, they're garbage, and nobody cares about them. I'm not going to sit here and watch any promo or segment or match that they do unless I really have to watch it and it's must see, which is not going to be. The Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, this is the respect they get, right? They literally come out in Borderlands gear, dressing up as game characters to do an ad and a promotion for the video game Borderlands 4. This is the extent of the respect that the Street Profits get. Montez Ford is great at literally everything you need to be good at to be a good professional wrestler, and this dude is coming out dressed like Borderlands and then gets pinned in the match. Are you kidding me? And now they're teasing that the Street Profits may split because Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford have random tension that was just brought up on SmackDown a few days ago, okay? And at this point, just split them up. I need Montez Ford to do a singles run and actually win something of meaning. He's great at everything. Just have him get a push and actually push him to be something special because he has the ability to do so. Other than that, there's nothing to talk about here. This match was meaningless and nobody cared. Then we move on. We then get Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella, and oh my gosh, the botches in this match are egregious, man. Like, people think that this is a joke. Why would anybody in a straight mind, if you're actually thinking about this logically, why would this show get anything above maybe a 2 or a 3 out of 10, and that's being generous? You are watching bottom of the barrel slop content with botches, awful movesets, and garbage storylines, and you're telling me this is anything above a 2? Because there are some good wrestling matches, man. Whoa! Stop. Wrestling is more than matches. You need to have stories. You need to have storylines. You need to have character building and great segments and promos and matches to actually build everything together. It's not just good in-ring moments. We need everything else that goes along with it. The performance aspect of it. But here, you get straight garbage. This botched disaster kick from Nikki Bella that I showed at the beginning of the video was atrocious. She obviously expected Becky Lynch to be there. Becky Lynch wasn't in her moment. She wasn't in her right spot. And then you had them bring it outside to fight on the tables. And the table, you know, like they slam people's, faces on the table, but they just slap the table with their hands so their face doesn't even hit it. It was so egregiously poorly done here that it looked like some of the fakest stuff you've ever seen. You remember when you were a kid, right? And you saw those actual compilations that revealed that wrestling wasn't real, and it was like that viral clip of Batista getting pushed by Mark Henry and he flies like 1,000,000,000 yards backwards. This clip literally will get played in a Wrestling is Fake compilation at some point in the near future. I'm telling you right now, this was some of the worst wrestling I've ever seen. The match was garbage, forgettable, and it ends, guess how it ended, guys? In a fruit roll-up! Yeah, man, fruit roll-up, guys! Let's never have a legitimate pin and a legitimate finish. Let's just do roll-ups and roll-ups and roll-ups and roll-ups and roll-ups and banger after banger after banger. And I can't stop thinking about Punk, and I can't stop thinking about Randy, and I can't stop thinking about Cody. Shout out to Drew McIntyre, who deserves much better, but this video is not about him. This match between Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella was garbage. Obviously, Becky Lynch was going to retain, but the way that they went about it, the in-ring quality, it was very bad, very botchy, sloppy, very choreographed in the worst way possible. This was one of the worst women's matches I've seen in my life, and it was easily probably the worst of this year, if not, one of the worst, because there's been some really bad ones this year, and that's that. Then we move on to a Donnybrook Raw match. This match between Rusev and Sheamus, like, if I'm being real with you, it's not a bad match, of course. It's a decent match, but the problem is, we have seen this match like 80 times. You get what I mean? We've seen this on Raw 3 or 4 times, but with no weapons. This match is the same Raw match with weapons. Like, that's all this is. So this match had to do something really special and really exciting to get me intrigued and make me feel really special watching this match. And did it do that? Absolutely not. Sheamus did the white noise spot off of the top of the barrels through the table, which was pretty cool, but he did that to Pete Dunne in a random Donnybrook match like earlier this year or late last year, so we've seen that before. We haven't seen it with these two maybe, but we've still seen the similar spot. Obviously, you have the 10 beats of the Bowen. He does it with the shillelagh, without the shillelagh. He does it all over the place. It's pretty cool. They slammed each other through a bar, which I thought was a really cool spot. That's probably my favorite spot of the match, was the slamming through the bar. Also, when Rusev broke the shillelagh on Sheamus's back, I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, this match had some good physicality as per usual, but it's the run-of-the-mill Sheamus and Rusev match, but with a couple extra spots and some weapons involved. So I can't say this match was bad. I'm never going to watch it again, most likely, but it was a pretty decent match. Like, this is an actual PLE level match to an extent. The only problem it's to an extent is because we've seen this on Raw, but with no weapons, like I've said before. So overall, Rusev ends up getting the W, because Rusev puts Sheamus in the accolade using the shillelagh, and then Sheamus actually ends up tapping out, which is one of the few times he's done that in his entire WWE career. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So I guess Rusev is going to probably move on to the mid-card. He might challenge whoever the IC champion is at the end of AJ and Dominic's match tomorrow on Raw. So that's basically that. By the way, AJ Styles, I think I said this before, but he should have obviously been on this card. Like, that's what I'm saying. AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio for the IC title would have been much better suited for this card tonight than a meaningless Rusev and Sheamus match, or than a Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella match. You get me? And they could have replaced that Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella match with a Stephanie Vaquer versus literally anybody for the world title match. Like, it's just embarrassing, man. Anyways, we then move on to what I deem as the best part of the night by far. John Cena versus Logan Paul was awesome, okay? I had a ton of fun with this match. I thought it was extremely entertaining. The story here leading into this match, you guys know, I've actually been following and really enjoying the promos that Logan and Cena have been putting together. It's not just the classic, oh, Logan Paul's an outsider, I'm the old guy, I'm going to show him how this works. No. Not Roman Reigns. John Cena is talking about how wrestling can ruin Logan Paul, because all Logan Paul wants to do from this business is take and take and take, and he needs to learn what it means to really give to this business, right? And then Logan Paul is basically saying, I'm no longer an outsider anymore. I have given to this business. I'm responsible for the billion-dollar deals. I've never had a bad match. I've done this. I've done that. I brought money in. I bring eyeballs. It's really interesting and entertaining stuff. And John Cena bringing up his past as like an influencer and stuff too on SmackDown. It's been great. The build has been very good. I would much rather see Cena do other things in his retirement tour that Triple H has absolutely botched this year. However, at the end of the day, man, what they've done in the last couple weeks to build for this match specifically has been very good, so I can't even be mad at it if I'm being real with you, okay? Now, going into this match, obviously because I was invested in the story, the match itself just added on to it. The crowd was really hype. They were entertaining here. Logan Paul and John Cena pulled out some really creative moves. John Cena was doing code reds. He had a Styles clash, which was cool, obviously. The crowd absolutely absolutely loved Cena, man. His entrance, man, it really just brings it in perspective. John Cena only really has 9 dates after tonight, bro. Who I deem as the greatest of all time, John Cena only has 9 dates left, man. It's sad, but you just gotta respect him while he's here, man. You gotta show respect to Cena. You gotta love Cena. You gotta appreciate Cena. You gotta know Cena. You know what I'm saying? John Cena's pretty awesome. So obviously it was great to see him enter here. He's really sinking in the moment, getting emotional. It was beautiful to see. Logan Paul tried to hit a 5-knuckle shuffle. He actually did. He tried to hit an AA as well. Like, there were so many creative spots in this matches, you know, in this match, sorry. And Logan Paul actually got a massive buff, it looks like, because he kicked out of like 2 or 3 attitude adjustments, got out of the STF multiple times. Like, this dude was actually, he's getting treated like a main eventer, kicking out of multiple finishers, dodging moves, evading moves, no-selling moves. At the end of the match, they had a nice little sequence where they basically had Logan Paul like get AA'd, counter that, hit a knockout punch, and then Cena, you know, no-sells that, hits an AA, and then falls into the cover. Very, very fun match, very creative. John Cena obviously ends up coming up on top and ends up getting the W, man. This was very entertaining. Great athleticism shown for Logan Paul. John Cena obviously did a good job as well with the creativity of his moves and his entertainment and his energy and palpable excitement it brings when the never-seen 17, the greatest of all time, John Cena, comes out there, man, and puts on a show for us fans that have been supporting him for millions and millions of years. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this was pretty awesome. I enjoyed it. This is what you want at a premium live event. I would have had this just be the main event at this point, because even though it's for nothing, it actually matters because it's one of Cena's final appearances. So afterwards, he, you know, he went ringside with the crowd, and he, you know, he kissed his wife, and then he took a picture with the fan that he bashed at the one Brussels Raw earlier this year, that he bashed that little kid. So it was pretty cool, man. This is the John Cena we know and love, and it's a real shame that Triple H botched this heel run so bad, because he should, like you know, earlier this year, he should have never turned heel. The Rock wanted Cody to turn heel and then Cena to, you know, go against heel Cody, and it would have made much more sense that way, and it would have been much better, because at the end of the day, like, no offense to Cody Rhodes, but let's be honest here, John Cena's final year of his career matters much more than whatever Cody Rhodes is doing right now. So you could have just had Cody be heel temporarily and then turn back, and that's the way I see it. But however, Triple H botched his like 5 months of this dude's final run, and now we just have to, you know, make the most that we can with what's left, and that's really all that it's about. We then get to the main event, and it is the Fatal 4-Way with Seth Rollins, LA Knight, Jey Uso, and CM Punk for the World Championship. I'm gonna be honest, guys, this was boring and bad. Like, there's nothing memorable about this match. LA Knight jumped off of the top rope and put himself through a table. Jey Uso was absolutely gassed and tired the whole match, and they had to ride him like he was injured and all that other stuff because of the brawl from earlier in the night with Braun and Bronson. And obviously, you know, CM Punk like botched a table flip and didn't even break the table. He fell out. Like, it was just a bunch of, hey, this person doesn't move, then sits down for 5 minutes. This person doesn't move, then sits down for 5 minutes. It's too choreographed. It's not memorable. And obviously, the story going into it wasn't good enough, so you just don't care for anything happening here. And because you couple that with the fact that we knew Rollins was going to retain, nothing about this was really special at all. Like, let's just be real with ourselves, man. This was not entertaining. I didn't enjoy this. There was nothing really memorable about this match. Seth Rollins hits a curb stomp on CM Punk and says he hates his family, and then CM Punk hits him with a GTS. Rollins falls onto him again looking for another GTS, and then CM Punk is about to hit him, and then Becky Lynch is revealed to low blow CM Punk. CM Punk then gets curb stomped, I think, onto a chair or whatever happened, and then Rollins gets the pin and stands tall with Becky Lynch, and the show just ends. No excitement, no joy, no real epic, you know, shock, because, you know, Triple H, all he does is shock factor. It's like Lesnar returning and then not being seen since, basically. Like, that's basically what this is. Nobody cares that Becky Lynch is helping Seth Rollins for, what, a month or two until AJ Lee comes back? It's just, dude, this is the most phoned-in show ever. It was boring. It was not exciting. This Fatal 4-Way main event was straight garbage. When you look at the card, there's 6 matches. One of them was actually very good in premium-level content, and that was Cena and Logan Paul. Everything else, the Sheamus and Rusev match wasn't bad, but it was decent. So I'll give that half a point, and then Cena match adds a point onto the scale, and then the crowd, I guess, can add another 0.5. This show overall is like a 2 out of 10. I'm sorry. Nothing else gets a point. I'm not going to sit here and settle for garbage. Why would I settle for bad booking and for massively forgettable matches and botches? What about that is exciting to you guys? You know what I'm saying? Like, people out there who actually are gonna like this show, what about this is exciting and great to you? Like be honest with yourself, bro. But for real, this main event was forgettable. I don't care about it. I didn't like it literally at all. I was largely bored while watching it. I was literally on my phone, and quite frankly, none of it was exciting to me, bro. And obviously the Becky Lynch twist, they're going to set this up now for AJ Lee to potentially come back probably within the next month or two, and I could honestly, like, AJ Lee coming back is going to be awesome, but the build-up to get to that point, I could care less what happens between Punk, Rollins, and Becky on Raw for the foreseeable future. Until AJ Lee is involved, I do not give a crap about this show or any of this stuff happening at all. Raw and SmackDown will continue to be bad as per usual, and this PLE trash in Paris was a complete and utter disaster. We will talk about some of the fallout from this probably more tomorrow in the Raw review or after that, but man, I'm drained out. This show was absolute garbage, and it was a complete and utter disaster. 2 out of 10 from your boy. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. And as wait, hold on. I forgot something, guys. I forgot something. Before the main event match, Seth Rollins is backstage cutting a passionate promo that actually got me hyped because I like Seth Rollins. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. This current run he's on this year has been absolutely atrocious, and I don't like it at all. However, Rollins actually cuts a good promo. He's like, if I can't be champion by winning by myself, then I shouldn't be champion at all, okay? And he's teasing it like he has no help because Braun and Bronson had to get sent home and Heyman's in the hospital and all this other stuff. And then when the match, before the match, in the promo with Jackie Redmond, he says he doesn't need the Vision. He never needed the Vision. And he also doesn't, he doesn't need any help to keep his championship. Now, when Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman inevitably actually come back, they should immediately leave this faction because Rollins has wasted their time. He just disrespected them behind their backs and he used somebody else's help to get over. You get what I mean? He didn't even need Bronson or need Braun Breaker. Bronson Reed went out there and got speared by Roman Reigns. Braun Breaker got sent home and potentially suspended, and Paul Heyman's in the hospital, all while Rollins is sitting back and talking about how he doesn't need them. Shouldn't that make sense that Braun Breaker, Bronson, and Heyman leave Rollins for good? It makes sense, right? That's exactly what should happen if we're being if we're thinking logically. But watch what happens. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker are gonna fall back in line like the good old jobbers and do-gooders that they are. They're gonna just listen to Rollins mindlessly and continue to have no character. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why the Vision is garbage. Why Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker cannot progress. And why Paul Heyman has absolutely wasted this year of his career doing complete and utter nonsense. And now Becky Lynch is going to waste some months of her career doing this nonsense as well. We know what happened when Rollins and Becky teamed up back in 2019. That didn't end up very well, did it? So we'll just see what happens with it this time. Anyways, now that I got everything I needed to get off my chest, I thank you guys for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Peace out and one love.